Tour de la Provence has returned after an absence. Now with 2.1 categorization, it had the former world champ Mads Pedersen on the start list. First stage was a prologue in Marseille, which was a gift for Mads Pedersen. Really good in a sort of technical, powerful, flat prologue, about a 5-minute effort, and he predictably went into the hot seat. With no mountain stage in this race anymore, no Chalet Renard, no Montagne de Lourdes, where we saw Quintana go on Fuego in previous years, GC was kind of already wrapped up. His closest rival, his teammate, in second. This was stage 1 from Aix-en-Provence to Martigues. The GC times were going to be taken at 5Ks to go because of this bad weather, and mostly actually because of a very, very technical / dangerous finish. Breakaway with Goujon. The tractor, have to get used to him being in Lidl-Trek colours, although he's in the black rain cape, and I think that's Warbass chasing for Decathlon Âge Désert La Mondiale. But yeah, Tim Declercq now on chasing duties in the wet conditions for Mads Pedersen, going for back-to-back stage wins, and the break was in hand, under 60 seconds with 25Ks to go. Julien Bernard pulling on the hills, a few roundabouts, which some teams navigated better than others, hopping across. So the Decathlon and I think Israel getting some free seconds there. Israel got a curious team. They got Sheehan, who won Paris Tour. They got Pickrell, who was supposed to be their sprinter for the day. But Hofstetter is also a sprinter. But it'd be interesting to see who they go for. I think they went for Pickrell in the end. But coming up to 10Ks to go, the gap wasn't moving too much. 41 seconds there. Bernard looking tired. Some cyclocross action on the right-hand side with the Arkea guy going into the ditch after his teammate bumped him. And the breakaway wasn't losing too much time. With all the rain, the technical downhills, it was only when noted rouleur Remy Rochas came to the front for Sam Watson, I think was their sprinter for the day. The gap really started to tumble. They were in sight with 6Ks to go. And then a couple of teams, Arkea and Israel, did something pretty smart. They decided they could nab a couple of free seconds, given that Pedersen's going for the stage win. Sheehan's not going for the stage win. He's not a sprinter per se, although he can sprint. And so if they can get 4 or 5 seconds at this, where the times are supposed to be taken with 5Ks to go, then they can move up GC, and that's indeed what Sheehan was thinking. He's on the front here with Raul Garcia Piana to his left-hand side on Arkea. Sheehan did an okay prologue, so he's not too far away, and after such a short prologue, the time gaps aren't going to be massive either. So it's also a mentality thing, because Pedersen's racing and Trek are racing for the finish line. They want to conserve their lead out. They don't want to waste Kirsch or Gibbons chasing down Sheehan or Garcia Piana. Here, it's a pretty clever move. In fact, FDJ should have tried it with Watson, I would say. Watson should have jumped here because he did a really good prologue and he could have taken some time, but then you'd say, well, he's not going to do well in the sprint. Yeah, it's a difficult one. But Lidl-Trek do, with that conserved lead out, burst to the front with 1,500 metres to go. They got the road furniture on the right-hand side. I'm not sure if that's Bennett or his lead out in front of him, which is trying to stay upright with Axel Zangler here for Cofidis, but he didn't have much of a lead out at all. He's the only Cofidis man I can see in this picture. Kirsch is looking behind. He's detached from Pedersen and his lead out. So he's trying to, well, actually, that's not true. Pedersen's kind of just off to the right, and his lead-out man just didn't follow Kirsch, and he really should have. And then he decides here, too late, I do want to get back to Kirsch. I don't know if this is Vergara, Söderqvist, or Gibbons, because they all got the rain capes on, or long jerseys on. I don't think it's Gibbons, because he's in the South African National Champs jersey, but there's a double right-hander coming up. And this is why this stage had the GC times taken at 5Ks to go, because there's this right-hander here over the harbour that literally there's no barriers and they just go into the drink if they get it wrong and slide out. And Trek kind of undercut their own lead out, or not really. They cut off the back wheel of Kirsch, and then Pickrell is able to slide through because he took the quicker outside line, which Pedersen didn't. And then Pedersen's last man lets it go, but then doesn't sort of pedal full gas, doesn't stop pedaling, and Kirsch is going clear and puts Pedersen in, I think, a difficult spot here with Pedersen then deciding, after having no draft for a while through this corner, actually I do have to close this down because Pickerel has got onto Kirsch's wheel. Otherwise, if he just pulled up stumps completely, they would have probably gifted Pickerel a free W, but he made the right decision, Pedersen. It wasn't pretty through those wet right-hand bends, and maybe it wasn't the best lead-out ever for them, but the reverse lead-out worked fine enough. You can see actually Pedersen did get clear air because Zangler and Watson got his back wheel cut off, and he's just too good for these guys. Wet stage, sort of miserable conditions, not too cold, but just the sort of day Mads Pedersen likes to win, and I want to see him against Zangler on the Manosque finish though. That's coming up. It's a more of an uphill drag. Zangler did close reasonably well, but Pedersen had to do a lot more than the others and still was dominant. So I'm not sure if there was bonus seconds at the line, but he certainly took an impressive back-to-back stage win. Have Zangler, then Watson, Pickerel, Boulet, Lecroc, Dujardin, Decker, Henneken, and that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back with stage 2 of Tour de la Provence tomorrow. Is there anyone that can do anything against Mads Pedersen?